Okay, so why don't you just start by introducing yourself?
Well, my name is Sasha. I'm a therapist, and I've been working with gender dysphoria since about 2016. And I'm really here because this is one of the only conferences where you can get people from lots of different fields in one place who all have different perspectives, but generally the same concerns about gender questioning adolescents and pediatric gender medicine. So I'm just really excited to see people from the world of education and academic philosophy and writers and therapists, like all in the same place to offer different perspectives on this issue.
And how long have you been involved with Genspect?
Well, I've been on the board of directors since Genspect first started, I think 2018. Is that right? Is this like, okay. And I'm not really, I haven't really contributed to the organization of this event, but I have attended all the Genspect events, and I'm very excited to be a speaker for this event. So. And speaking tomorrow.
Sorry. And so tell me, you're involved in a podcast that comes out with Genspect. So talk about the podcast.
Yeah, so Genspect is one of the sponsors of our podcast, Gender: A Wider Lens. And Stella and I really built a friendship early on when we were kind of collaborating and sharing ideas about our work as therapists around gender questioning adolescents. And we've also consulted with so many parents. So the concept of the podcast really started out almost as a way to communicate publicly some of the things that we often found ourselves sharing with parents in one-on-one consultations and in small groups and things like that. So we started it thinking that we would probably just put out 50 episodes of the most important topics and then shut it down and move along. But of course, the podcast has really taken on a life of its own, and we've moved into a lot of interesting areas. We not only make information for parents, but we do lots of interviews with other professionals, parents, trans people, detrans people, who all have something interesting to say about gender. So it's really been a labor of love, but it's evolved into something we really couldn't have expected.
And you and Stella both have written a book, too. Tell us about your book.
We have. Our book is called When Kids Say They're Trans. And the reason we wanted to write this book, along with Lisa Marciano, one of our co-authors, is that there's been so many books written for parents who want to help facilitate their child's social or medical transition. But there haven't really been any books that are practical guidebooks for parents who want to support their child's exploration, but also slow down anything that will lead to like direct medical interventions or, a concretization of something that we see as much more metaphorical and something that we should remain flexible about, given that adolescents are still in flux. So our book is really for parents who are engaged, loving parents who want to stay connected with their kids but want to guide them towards a more kind of whole picture sense of self rather than getting locked in on the gender piece.
So you've come to a lot of these conferences. A little trivia. Who's speaking at this conference here in Lisbon who you've never met in person and you're really excited to meet finally in person?
Okay, well, does in person count if we have interviewed them? Because I've met lots of people virtually. Okay. In person, gosh, I've met a lot of amazing people in person. I have never met Julie Bindel. I have never met Kathleen Stock. I've never met Peter Boghossian. There are so many people, and I'm kind of blanking off the top of my head, but there's a lot of incredible people that I've gotten to meet, and some people that are repeats. Like I've met Colin Wright before, I've met Alex Capo, of course I've met you before, and all of these speakers are really exciting. I'm so thrilled to be here.
Great. Anything else I didn't ask you about that you want to tell people?
No, I hope that I hope everyone gets a lot out of this conference, and I hope that people enjoy my little talk tomorrow afternoon. It's about communicating with kids who are gender questioning. I think a lot of people realize quickly that it can be hard to get through to adolescents who have really rigid ideas about gender. So through my work since 2016, I've started kind of picking up some strategies, and I plan to share those tomorrow afternoon. So I'm excited about that.
And one last question, how can people follow you or follow the Substack or your podcast?
Yeah, so my website is sashaayad.com, and I'm sure you guys will include links. And then the podcast is Gender: A Wider Lens. You can follow us on anywhere that you listen to podcasts. We have an amazing YouTube channel with engaged listeners, really cool comments, so I encourage people to check it out there. And parents who are looking for additional support can always find me through my private membership group, which you can look at on my website. There's more information there.
Thank you. Thank you.